according to The Wrap, the October box office hit a 21-year low. Why do you think that is?
COVID, basically. There's been a production slowdown. There's been an audience slowdown and a production slowdown, and that's hitting them. I think there were half as many movies or 50% fewer movies that came out this summer than came out in the summer of 2019. So, and plus Hollywood has a shiny new toy, which is the streaming business. Nobody, the theater isn't dead. We all love going to the movie theater, and this weekend is a pretty big telling moment, which is the release of Wakanda, the second Black Panther movie. So there's just been a lack of product to drive people into the seats.
So what do you think needs to change for people to be getting back in those seats?
There's going to have to be good movies. And again, the latter part of the year is stronger, at least the industry considers it, is stronger than the summer. And the summer is usually, there's two really big times of year for movies, summer releases and holiday releases. Coming up, we've got Wakanda, we've got the Spielberg autobiographical Fableman movie, we've got Avatar coming out. So there's a lot of big movies, and everyone in Hollywood is pointing to 2023 as a much stronger year release-wise, production-wise, than 2022 was. So I think 2023 is going to be a bigger box office year than 2022, which is down because it's still coming out of the effects of COVID, where people are afraid to go to the theaters, and the effects of streaming, where Hollywood is still trying to figure out how to deal with this new dynamic, where it used to be you put a movie in the theaters and you didn't get it anywhere else until 3 months from then.
Now you can see it same day with some streaming services.
Now we all love that. There's no going back.
Yeah. What do you think was the bigger hit to movie theaters, COVID or streamers, or was it just an unlucky coincidence that they both kind of came to fruition at the same time?
I think it was a combination of the two. I think streaming was already had some serious momentum behind it when COVID hit, and when COVID hit, I mean, we saw it with Amazon. Suddenly there's an Amazon truck on every street at every moment of the day. That didn't exist in 2018, at least not that I remember. It changed the world. And we were all stuck at home for 2 years, or however long it was, and we wanted to watch stuff. So they just started putting everything on TV. And entertainment has been shifting into the home for many years. It's just not it wasn't so dramatic. There were home movie theaters. Everyone can have a surround system in their home, a flat screen television, so you can reproduce the movie experience in your home with a certain level of contentment, and so that it's been that migration for many years. It was just COVID with streaming being able to fill in the gap that just kind of pushed it over the edge.
And can you foresee theaters dying in general?
I don't see them dying. I mean, we've been writing about the theater business at Forbes for many years. I wrote a story about two chains in California that were battling, and I remember it was a city, Ontario, California, and there was a 10 or 15 multiplex theater chain by AMC, and right across the street, Edwards Theater, who was defending its territory because it was at the time, the Southern California movie chain, built its own 17 or 18 movie theater complex right across the street. So you had,
wow.
In a city like Ontario, you had like 54 screens just right across the street from one another. It was a classic overbuild, and and everyone was doing it. Cinemark was doing it, AMC was, all of them were doing it, Regal, and the theater business collapsed. And the number of screens were cut in half. I can't remember what the number was, but they were severely reduced. That theaters will not go out of business, but only the strong will survive. And there will be fewer theaters in the world in 2023 than certainly there were in 2019. And the kinds of movies that go into those theaters will be very different. There will be movies that are made in Hollywood, like Wakanda, like Avatar. They're going to go to the movies, and they're going to stay in the theaters, and they'll probably have that limited window first, 30 days maybe now, 60 days, who knows. But those are the kind of movies that Maverick, everyone wanted to see that in the theater. That's why it's a $2 billion movie.
Yeah.
But, a George Clooney, Julia Roberts movie, well, you're more than happy to watch that at home on Saturday night.
Of course. And do you foresee movie theaters bouncing back, maybe not to what they were in the beginning of the 2000s, the 90s, but pre-pandemic times, 2018, 2019?
In terms of dollar volume? No. I don't think anybody expects that. I don't think it will. It will bounce back from 2020, 2021. I think we will see increases from there. It's hard to see a world where we're hitting the levels of 2018, 2019, where box office records were being. It's hard to see another box office record being broken. But I say that it's hard to see from here. 10 years ago, no one could see the music industry surviving because it had been cut in half. Well, I don't know if they've hit it. They're very close, or they've surpassed it. Either way, they're back to the record revenue number they had when CDs were at their peak in the 1990s. So, hard to say.
I know. Hopefully they can adapt. But Rob LaFranco, thank you so much.
Pleasure.